I'm wondering any viewers that are watching that are potentially in international marriages may be really interested in hearing how how Brian was actually abducted. What happened at the beginning when divorce proceedings started?
Yeah, so it's a bit of a long story, but I'll try to make it as simple as possible. The divorce started back in 2018. It's almost 7 years ago now. It's all started when Brian's mother, my ex-wife, was arrested for some domestic violence case. There's a lot to talk about that particular case too, but just for the purpose of making the story easier to digest. That's how it started, and the reason why that is important is because I was left with Brian alone, and I was the sole custodian for an extended period of time. And the mother had some visitations, some supervised visitations, and the divorce process went on for about a year. And during that process, we had the parenting evaluator involved, also known as guardian ad litem. So there was some, custody investigation. There were some temporary orders that said Brian belongs to the U.S. And nobody can take him out of the country or Washington State, actually. And also stating that both parents will have to submit his two passports to the attorneys so that there will be no danger of child abduction to another country. The interesting that's something that is really unique about my case because a lot of parental abductions to other countries, they happen usually at the beginning stage of the family structure breaking down, usually even before the divorce process starts. For example, if a couple has some, troubles in their household, the mother or the father will decide, okay, I'm going to go back to my home country, but I'm going to take my child with me. And then once they take the child, there's a whole lot of discussions about where does the child originally belong? Does the child was this truly an unlawful or wrongful removal of the child? Was it a true abduction? So that kind of disputes and discussions will come after the abduction. In my case, the mother, the abductor, the mother in this case, filed the divorce stating that Washington State is the child's jurisdiction. And we did get some temporary uh, custody orders. It did state that Brian should not be taken out of the country. And most importantly, after a whole year process, we landed an agreement. And this agreement stated very clearly what are the conditions that Brian can go to Korea, and and it also strictly prohibited the wrongful retention or failure to return Brian. So if I like to directly quote what it said, failure to return Brian according to the planned trip, according to the planned trip, is a major violation of this agreement, and it will give rise to civil contempt and criminal action. She signed the paper. I signed the paper. The attorneys on both sides signed the paper, and the mediator also signed the entire paper, certifying that it was supervised by the mediator, the certified official mediator that is recognized by the court. So it cannot be any clearer than that nobody can hold Brian without anybody's consent in another country like Korea. But this abduction happened in 2019 when the mother took Brian for what was supposed to be a 3-week trip based on the agreement that we signed. and then started arguing, I cannot return because there was a Korean passport that was invalidated that she kept with her secretly. And she said, because this passport is invalidated, I cannot leave the country because when she entered the country, she used this invalidated passport.